If you would have asked me, is a podcast that addresses daily life from the heart. And so in this podcast, I try to make it as much as a safe space for people to be honest, because that's what this is about. This podcast is about being honest and genuine and unapologetic in exploring real topics that everybody faces on a day-to-day basis. And I obviously have said this before, but I feel like I always have to acknowledge it, especially in the podcast where I'm literally talking about the truth behind this mic. So everything that I talk about is learned from personal experience and the life lessons that I have went through and perspective that I have gained on my own. I never went to school. I didn't learn anything in a textbook. Like, everything is literally just based off of the ways that I've chose to shift my life because of what I've been through. And so for a very long time, I had this issue with believing in people more than I believed in myself. So, like, I believed in my mother's ability to change more than I believed in myself. I believed in boyfriends more than I believed in myself. I believed in the path that somebody else had planned for me more than I believed in myself. I literally believed in literally every little thing more than I believed in myself. And that little mindset right there has held me back from so much success in my life. Thinking that more people could achieve more than I could in my own life made me become someone who wasn't able to achieve greatness. And so at one point I recognized this and I said, it's time for a change and I need to start growing. I can't just stay here and not become everything that I want to be. If I want to be this, then I need to put this on my plate. Fuck what they're doing, because they're not me. So they couldn't even do it the same way that I'm going to do it anyway. So it doesn't matter if they're me or not, because they're them. And it literally took me having to write things down, because I was in a relationship where I believed in someone more than I believed in my own self to be alone and to handle things on my own. I believed in us and I believed in our relationship more than that. So I tried literally everything under the fucking sun to save our relationship, and literally nothing worked. Nothing worked. Nothing. It was like throwing fucking paper airplanes at a brick wall. Like, it just wasn't going through. And so I wrote a whole bunch of feelings and perspective shifts that I literally thought this person could use to start growing and to become the person that they want to be for me, that they keep saying that they want to be. And I can see how they can achieve it if they were to just shift their perspective and they just stayed stuck in this lack mindset. And because they chose to stay stuck in that lack mindset, I got a seed for something that I've never felt more passionate about in my life, which is being able to address perspective and perspective shifts and not being the same person as you experience life with other people. And yeah, there's only like 75 of you right now, but there's 75 people that I can discuss this topic about when I thought I was the only one. And so if you would have asked me, is my outlet of saying, I didn't say this to you because it's really not my place to tell you how to grow, especially if I've already addressed how it could, the things that could help you become into this fulfilled mindset. I fuck, I lost my train of thought. That's what I did. I just, damn, I really lost my point there, guys. I hope that full thought came through. But pretty much, authenticity is not something that you can learn in a textbook and going to school or doing the things that you think you're supposed to be doing. Authenticity is something that you live. And when you're living in your own authenticity, you start to create your own peace, because at the end of the day, you know that this is your root core, that there's something, this is who you cannot change. And you know the person that you cannot change because you'll be happy with that person. you will not be happy with the person that you can change. So, when it comes to believing in yourself and others, you have to start recognizing the core difference, which is you choose to show up as your most authentic self every day. Whether or not little Sally next door or little Timmy that you have a crush on chooses to do that or not. You show up for you every single day. That is what gives you power. That is what gives you the strength to get up out of bed. That is what gives you the fucking balls to say the shit that you say to people. That is what fuels the person that you are meant to be. It's not doing something for somebody else. It's waking up and being your most authentic self. That is what fuels you, rather than validation from all these other different outlets and sources that everybody else relies on. I don't even know if you can see, but I'm literally doing hand gestures on my bed right now. There is always a future self waiting for you. And there's always a younger self cheering you on. And yes, there are obviously negative perspectives in those, the traumatized younger self and the future self that is scared. Yes, those are there. However, on the other end of that, there is always, always, always a future self waiting for you saying, God, I wish you'd just get here already. Do you know how much fun we're having over here? And a younger self going, yes, do that, because we never thought we'd be able to. And just because we never thought we'd be able to doesn't mean we need to be scared in the future. It means we need to be excited for what we're becoming, because we're becoming something that we never thought we could, but we always wanted to achieve. And that alone is beautiful. And it is okay that it's not what you planned, because it is what you need for yourself. Fueling yourself by being authentic and not allowing other people to reach at your peace is what makes your future self want you to become greater, and makes your younger self not scared to cheer you on. And so sometimes you have to ask yourself, what would it feel like if you believed in yourself as much as you believed in others? So as much as you believed in little Sally that she was not going to go back to that guy again, how much did you believe that little Timmy was going to have a crush on you and that he was just some little boy learning? You believed that all of this was going to happen for you with these other people, but what did you believe was going to happen for you? You always believed in what was going to happen for you because of other people, but what are you believing for you? And once you realize that a lot of the time you're not even addressing what you want to believe in for you, you're able to start to. That's where you begin, when you're able to recognize that you're not doing anything to believe in yourself, and you're only believing in others and what those others are going to do if they somehow align with the thoughts that you have in your head and you choose to become more. And they choose to become more, because if they choose to become more, that means you'll be more fulfilled. But what you have to ignore is the fact that, or what you are ignoring is the fact that you're not believing in yourself and pushing yourself to do things, because you're relying on where you're believing in their potential rather than your own. And I know it's hard to want to believe in yourself, or to want to expect so much out of yourself when we have things like social media and society that encourage negativity and fuel insecurities and all the things that we dislike about ourselves, and give us these boxes that our insecurities that we have to live with on a daily basis fall right outside of. It's easy to forget that you are your own person with your own choices. And it's easier to fall into the fact that, we're all sad and insecure and depressed. And so we're all doing this together. And that's why I believe in little Timmy and little Sally more than me, because that's what they're doing for me. But at the end of the day, you have no idea what they're doing for you. And honestly, what they should be doing is nothing. They should be doing for themselves, as you should do for you. You don't need to fit into any box whatsoever at all. You are meant to live at your own potential. There is no limit to what you can be, because there is no box. There is nothing saying that you have to do this and you have to do that. You can achieve success and greatness in whatever form you see fit for yourself at your own potential, because that is what you were put on this earth to do. However, unfortunately, we live in a world that teaches us about categories and being, this is not a disrespect to aesthetics. I love aesthetics. But being like a clean girl or like a baddie or this or that, or like, I don't know the stereotype specific names for guys because I don't worry about them. I'm going to be real. Or like being like a nice guy or like a chill guy or a nonchalant person or this or that. The world teaches us categories. What they don't teach us is that individuality creates peace. We have people who are talking about it, but no one is teaching it. No one is teaching you that wherever you feel lit up inside, whatever makes you feel lit up inside, in a positive, genuine, real way, which you'll know what that is when you feel it. Trust me, you will. And there's going to be a lot of imitations that might make you think that's what it is on the way to find it, but you will know when it reaches you, because you won't feel empty and you won't feel lost. But this, unfortunately, isn't told to people, because if we keep people insecure, then we keep them easy to control. And God forbid people have free will that we promise them. So what you have to do for you here now is change your mind on who you want to be, and change your mind on what you're allowed to be. You're allowed to be everything that you see for yourself, even if others don't understand. Even if people don't want to understand what you are for yourself, you are more than welcome to do that. Point blank, period. They can't tell you otherwise. You decide how far you will go. That is up to you. Nobody else has a say or power or control in any of that whatsoever at all. You are everything that you are meant to be in this world. You don't need a crutch. You might need an assistant. You might need an assist every here and there. But you don't need a 24/7 crutch to be there to remind you of who you are. That's why you're there. That's why you have your subconscious. That's why you have yourself. That's why you're able to think and feel and do and all of these beautiful things that the human experience gives us. That's why you are given that grace. Otherwise, we would literally just be boxed in. We would be controlled. But we're not. And we're not controlled for a reason. And people are too scared to accept that, because if you embrace your potential, then you might actually be able to achieve something like happiness at a minimum. If you would have asked me, is a podcast where we will never avoid the elephant in the room. If you want to call me out in the comments, I read them all. Go ahead, call me out in the comments for literally anything that I say. That's the point. Don't be rude. Say it with respect. But you are more than welcome to contradict my perspective. That's how you learn more perspective. That's how you grow. If you would have asked me as a conversation that makes it okay to have an input in any conversation that you'd like, if you want to say something, speak the hell up. Speak the hell up. You have that right. You have a voice for a reason. It works. You know it works. Even if you're not even able to speak, you can find an outlet that allows you to let that voice out in other ways that still fuel your most authentic self. The goal of If You Would Have Asked Me is to spark discussions that people are scared to have, to start making people wake up to the fact that their free will is literally right in front of them. There might be limitations on the things that you can do, but your free will is still inside of you. No one can take that, no matter who you are. Don't let them. You are everything. Every single person on this fucking planet, all 7 billion of us, are everything. That's what makes it so fucking important. Not one single person on this planet is insignificant. Everybody plays their part to their fullest potential. Accept and love people for that. Don't be rude and cruel. You don't know them. You don't know what they've been through. It's okay that you don't know them like that and that you don't know what they've been through. Don't be rude and cruel to nobody. That's not the point. The point is to put yourself in a position of so much self-love that you never have to be rude and cruel to anybody ever again. That you're able to instead shift their perspective into the ability to also express their own free will more. Never, ever will this be something where we want to put people down. The only goal here is to spread the positivity so we can have more people awake to their free will, and so we can actually start making the true differences that need to be made on this planet. But we can't do that until everyone accepts that they actually matter. Everybody on this planet has to accept that they actually matter for a difference to be made. If you don't care about yourself, if you don't love yourself enough, nothing will be done, and we will all stay the same. We need to get more people to the point of embracing who the fuck they need to be. Not who they want to be, not who they think they're supposed to be, not what Susie, Sally, Mom, Dad, and Uncle, Grandpa, Joe thought they should be, but who the fuck their potential and authenticity is guiding them to be. That person right there. We need everybody to be at peace with themselves so we can start making differences that will actually have an impact. But it starts with caring about yourself first and accepting yourself to the fullest love so you can then give that love to everybody else. And it might make people mad. I know for a fact that people do not agree with the perspective that I have. But I'm always going to be honest. Because at the end of the day, I've had people disagree with me. Sure, whatever. But for the fucking most part, I've never had anyone go, actually, no, I've never had anyone tell me ever, hey, your perspective's wrong. When I talk to people, people know that my perspective for me and my life is correct. And they can't change that. But I also cannot change their perspective and what brings them to be themselves. And if they get mad about it, then they have more self-love that they need to work on. It has nothing to do with me and my perspective. And that same thing goes to you. What people say about you has nothing to say about what you've been through and your perspective. That just means that they have more self-love to work on if they're spewing out negativity. So I mainly made this episode so that way people could fully understand what I'm trying to achieve. And the genuine goal here is to make a difference, is to get people to a point of accepting the fact that they can love themselves enough to express full free will whenever the fuck they need to, and start moving into a light where they can start changing not only themselves but the people around them, so we can all start working from a mindset that will actually make a difference in this world. And I know I'm not being very narrow. Yeah. I know I'm being really broad about what in general needs to be impacted, because I feel like we all know all the topics and I don't need to address them specifically in this specific episode for you guys to understand why we need to love ourselves more so we can start making this difference. If you understand, you understand. So on top of that, I want to make sure that everyone who listens to this podcast knows that this is a free place to respectfully and honestly and authentically express your feelings. Express them in the comments, express them in an email, express them in a letter to yourself, express them however the fuck you need to. You have you have permission from yourself to do so. Right now, you're giving yourself permission listening to this episode. Yep, right now. Yep. I'm so serious. Watch. You're gonna go home later. You're gonna be doing things later. You're gonna be like, whoa, just did something I never thought I'd do. Because you just gave yourself permission to exercise your free will because you can do what the fuck you want. This is not a one-sided conversation. This is about the dialogue, and it is about honesty and mutual respect. I will show up for myself every single motherfucking day as best as I can, as long as you do the same. It's not about being perfect. It's about bringing yourself into growth and bringing yourself into honest authenticity without feeling caged in. Be your most authentic self without trying to dictate others' beliefs so that way you become easy for them to digest. Fuck what the fuck you can swallow. If you can't handle me, then either like get out or get a bigger stomach. I don't know what to tell you because I'm not here to be digestible for you. And with that, honestly, I think the only thing I have left to say is thank you guys for showing up for your not only yourselves but listening to this podcast whenever you can. You have no idea how much it means to me. Like all fucking 75 of you are some like I know I like obviously like we don't talk blah, but like it means so much to me that there's 75 people in the world right now that listen to what I have to say and agree with me, and that there is more than just myself who know what needs to be done for us to have the impact that we want to make. Like to make the differences that we want to shift in this world. Like not everything in the world will ever be perfect, but there is a level to the negativity that's in the world right now, and that's what needs a difference. And the people that listen to this podcast, you guys, like all of you, you know that. And that's why we do what the fuck we need to do every day. Embrace your individuality and your honesty and have hard conversations with people that you shouldn't be having hard conversations with. Even if it's uncomfortable. Even if they don't open up fully. Do it anyways. And for like the last thing before I end this episode is don't just reflect on how you're feeling. Speak on it. Let's go there together. And just like nobody asked me, nobody asked you, that doesn't mean you don't need to speak on what you wish you could have. And if you need that outlet, you know where to find me. You know where to find me. Yeah. All right, that's all, guys. I love you. Oh yeah, this is Jackie over here. Taddy was our original little thing. I guess I had to throw that in there. I don't know why. Okay, I'm done now. Bye.